Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama, and I thank you for joining me for another episode. This week, I have my guest is Hailey. Hailey runs the Etsy shop Ozetta. If you've listened to the podcast for a while, you would have heard this conversation almost 3 years ago now. And if you just joined us, I think you're really going to enjoy this. Hailey has been selling on Etsy since 2008 and to date has over 11,000 sales. When we had this conversation, she had a lot of good information to share because one of the things I liked about her story was that when she first started selling on Etsy, she jumped right into selling on Etsy full time right from the very beginning. It's a risky move. It's not for everyone, but it's really worked out well for her. Even to today, 2017, she's still doing very well on Etsy. And so I wanted to play this conversation for you again so that you can hear her story, hear how she started, and just get inspired and listen to the tips that she shared about how she just made it work. I know some people are more risk averse and are willing to just go all in, and others need more of a safety net before you make that transition. So as an individual business owner, it's up to you to decide the way you want to do it. But I think hearing what she has done and other Etsy sellers, another Etsy seller's perspective is helpful and at least inspiring at the very least. Hailey sells handmade cozy knitwear, and now she also sells patterns as well. So she's actually branched out her business. And if you follow her story from back in 2014 when we first spoke and today, you'll see how she's grown and expanded. And I think there's a lesson in there to just not staying static in your business and running your Etsy shop and just constantly evolving and growing. And I like it that because her journey shows just what is possible on Etsy for serious entrepreneurs. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Go check out Hailey's Etsy shop. It's Ozetta. I'm going to link to it in the show notes for this episode, and I will be back next week.
Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Etsy Conversations podcast. And I'm your host, Ijama. And I'm thrilled to have with me, my guest for this week is Hailey. Hailey runs the Etsy shop Ozetta. She opened the shop on September 1st, 2008, and currently has 4,774 sales and 2,172 five-star reviews, and she has over 17,000 admirers. Hi, Hailey.
Hi.
Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, do you want to briefly introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yeah, my name's Hailey, and I run an Etsy shop. I hand knit and crochet chunky scarves and accessories, and I've been doing it since about 2008.
Excellent. So when you first started, did you just jump right into selling on Etsy?
No, I actually, my sister introduced me to Etsy, and I started just browsing, and I became obsessed with just shopping and buying Christmas gifts, and I just really, really loved the idea of connecting with people that hand make and the bonds that you create with people. And then shortly after that, my mom opened a shop, and she inspired me to open mine.
Oh, I see. And I saw that your mom's shop is Cocoa Beans, right?
Yes, that's right.
And she sells crochet, just accessories?
She crochets like dishcloths and stuff like that for the home.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you learn from her?
I actually learned from my great-grandma, and I learned when I was 10 years old. Wow. And then I would stay with her in the summers, and we would spend tons of time just crocheting and talking. And I had a very strong bond with her. And after she passed away, My mom kind of picked up where, she left off and taught me things. Um, and then I've just pretty much been self-taught since. So they taught me like the foundations of it.
Yeah.
And then I've just kind of escalated from there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So your sister introduced you to Etsy.
Yes.
Okay. Did you go through what most Etsy sellers pre-Etsy go through, where they're making something and just giving them out till somebody finally says, okay, start selling?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I gave a lot of things to friends and stuff like that, and family members. And I don't know, my mom was just like, I think you could really do something on Etsy and be good at it. So I just started it up, and, pretty much the first day that I listed, I started selling. So it was a blessing for sure.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And you've been on Etsy for a while. Do you sell on Etsy full time, or do you have a job outside of Etsy?
I actually sell full time on Etsy, and I graduated in 2009 and pretty much quit my day job and just started doing full time Etsy. And can you still hear me?
Oh, perfectly.
Okay. Sorry, my computer was messing up. And I'm sorry, what was I saying?
You graduated in 2009 and then you quit your day job to do Etsy full time.
Yes. And after that, in like 2010, I started really actively selling, and it became more of a job and career rather than just a side thing.
Were you, did you have any reservations about quitting cold turkey and jumping full on into Etsy, or did you know at that time that it was going to be a very viable source of income for you?
I think I did have reservations about it. But my husband really helped with just, no pressure and just do what you love, and whatever happens, happens. So it was great.
That's so excellent. Do you think there was anything in particular that you did to accelerate your business growth? Because most people I know struggle in the beginning, and it sounds like right from the get-go you were just on fire.
I think, well, one thing that I've strived to do is have really good photos, and that really depicts your product and determines how well you're going to sell, I think, on Etsy, because that's what people see the most. That's what people will click on to find you and stuff like that. And I think that's the way that I kind of, had a little bit more of I don't know. Yeah, advantage.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, did you take classes for photography, or did you have someone help you? Because your pictures are really great. I mean, you see the product is so well displayed, and there's so much definition. Like you almost feel like you can see it in 3D.
Oh, thank you. Well, no, it was all self-taught, trial and error. And last year, I really, really started trying to learn indoor photography better. And it took me a while to get it down, and but now I think this year I've gotten it down even more. I got a new lens, and I was able to do that, so that helped a lot. But yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is so great. You do Etsy full time. Do you have a family? Well, I know you're married.
Yes, I have. I have a boy who's 4 and a little girl who just turned 2.
Oh,
so they keep me busy.
Oh, I'm very sure.
Yeah.
So between your 2 under 5s and your booming Etsy business, how do you manage your time?
Well, I really use nap time to my fullest advantage, and I get this question asked so many times, like, how do you manage your time with, your full-time Etsy shop and then your kids on top of that? And really, I just try to, I get up and I try to work as much as I can, and then nap time, of course, and then when they go to bed, I pretty much stay up until like 3 in the morning working and getting things done, and that's whenever I'm like the most like ready to go and inspired, and so I'm able to get a lot done during those times. And then during my busy season, it's hard to do that. I have to work more. So I have help from my husband when he's home, of course, and then my mom will help me out. And but it's really hard during my busy season. But right now, that's what I usually do.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know with small kids, it can't be that easy, but yeah, nap time is a good time. So if you're up till 3, man, how much sleep do you get?
Well, in my busy season, I get about like 4 to 6 hours of sleep.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Anyway, it's what a business person has to do sometimes.
Yeah, especially whenever I do it all on my own. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good. So, well, I was going to ask if your shop is profitable, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're creating something, what inspires you to create the pieces that you create?
Well, I mean, I'm inspired by so many things. And really, when it comes to my shop, being inspired with things from my shop, I'm inspired by winter photography, words, nature, the fall months. I mean, anything cozy related, I'm so inspired by.
So, most of what you knit is sweaters and cowls, things for winter weather.
Yes.
How is business in the summer?
Well, usually I just try to take the time off and just kind of relax during the summer.
Okay.
But this year I'm kind of doing it a little differently. I ran a sale to try to just, keep busy and keep focused and create inventory for my next year. And the summer months are a lot slower, of course, but yeah. And then I used to do summer collections, but I don't do that anymore because I feel like, I want to devote all my time to the fall winter collection and, just try to do that for my shop.
Okay. Right. So yeah, you're always creating regardless.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you spend time looking at other Etsy shops that sell things similar to what you sell?
Well, I try not to look at my competitors because I don't want to measure myself, or I mean, I want to measure myself against myself, and that's it. I determine how far I can go and not my competitors. So, I mean, with that being said, I do stay aware of how others are doing, especially during my busy season. Like, for example, if my sales for the day was mediocre compared to, let's say, this shop, I try to figure out why. Do I need to tag differently, renew more frequently? Be proactive on social media. Those are just a few things, but I think it's good to stay on top of things like that, but not become so involved in their numbers because you can't compare to an exact number, especially with how different prices and your pieces may vary from theirs.
Right, right. So in the, let's see, 6 years, almost 6 years now that you've been on Etsy, have you had any bad experiences?
Yeah, I mean, a couple. And it's really hard, like whenever you have those experiences, because, you try to make everything, 100% for your shop. But one customer, she comboed me around 30 times before placing an order. And this was all within like a few hours. She was confused, like, on how everything worked on Etsy and, my product and stuff like that. So I helped with all the questions she had, explained anything I could to her, and she ended up purchasing the item. I shipped it out within the time mentioned, and she claimed that she never received the product. Yeah, I did everything on my end to figure out what happened to the supposed lost package, and she wrote me back and forth. and she wrote me like 70 times. I went back and I actually checked because I wanted to make sure, and she demanded a refund. And I have it written in my shop policies that, I can't be held responsible for lost packages, but
Right.
she didn't agree with that.
Of
So
course.
I refunded her money and shipping costs and canceled the transaction. And, I believe I went above and beyond with everything. I responded immediately, did everything I could to make it easier for her. But she still threatened me via combos and ended up giving me hateful reviews.
You're kidding.
And no, it was bad. It was bad. I cried.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So, but what I took away from it though was that, I want to please everyone, but some people, it's just you can't please them. And it's usually very obvious during initial contact. And if I feel any uncertainty, then I ignore the messages or just cancel the transaction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to prevent anything like that from happening again.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, that does sound like a nightmare. I think
Yeah.
sometimes people don't realize. I mean, I guess they know people are behind the shops, but they don't
Yeah.
realize how hurtful some things are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, what a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you just stop them if you sense that something
Yes.
might go awry.
Yes, I do.
And you're right, you just can't please everyone. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can do everything possible.
Yep.
So how has selling on Etsy changed your life?
Oh gosh. Etsy has forever changed my life. It's presented things to me and my family that I would never have imagined possible. And I'm able to stay at home, do what I love, and take care of my kids. It's the greatest thing I could have ever asked for.
When you left your job in 2009, did you tell them what you were going to do?
Yeah, I did. Because in my like breaks and stuff, I would always crochet or knit, whatever. And so they all knew that that's what I did on the side. And they were so excited for me. And every
Oh,
once in a
nice.
while, I'll still go up there and they'll ask me how I'm doing. And so it's really nice to tell them, this is how far I've come with it. And,
Yeah,
it's really exciting.
that's excellent. I
Yeah.
love stories like that.
Yeah.
How do you promote your Etsy shop?
I mostly promote on like Instagram, and my blog. I love Instagram because it's really fast and I don't really have to say a lot with the picture. I can just post, and then I also have a Facebook, but I don't really get on there much. But I know I need to be better about that. I also joined a team on Etsy and last year, and I think that has helped a lot with like treasuries and just staying involved. And I think becoming part of a team kind of made me feel a little bit bigger, like I was a bigger part of Etsy. And
Nice.
yeah, so I can devote more to my shop appearance and work and you know become, just feel like I have more of a connection.
Oh, great. Now, how did you go about picking the team that you joined? Because there's so many. And
They approached me last year,
Okay.
and that's how I went about that.
okay.
Yeah.
And was that the first team that you joined?
Yes, it was.
Okay. What do you find is the best way to stay involved with your team and keep active in it?
We always do like blitzes each month, and I always try to do those. And a blitz is where you do a lot of treasuries in one day, and then you just post on the forums or talk with the people that's on your team and kind of be a support to one another. And you can post like your new items there, so you can see what other people or all your team members are doing. And so it's a great way to just stay connected with others.
Okay. Now, in addition to all that, do you ever do craft fairs?
I haven't ever done a craft fair. I so badly want to.
Really?
I applied to one for the fall, And I don't know if I'm actually going to do it now. If I get in or if I don't know. Because of my inventory, and I'm trying to create an inventory for my fall and winter. And I've never done that before. And so if I were to do a craft fair, I think I would have to like double that inventory and, just have more available and to go to the craft fair and stuff like that. But, this year, I think I want to stay more focused on creating the inventory for my Etsy shop.
Okay. Right. Because for craft fairs, you need to have everything right there to sell right there. Most people don't really like placing orders.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Do you do a lot of custom orders on Etsy?
Yes. A lot of times, most of the time, my items, it all comes in different colors. You can choose your color. And, everybody's so different and they all want a different color. But when creating inventory, I try to stick with like the neutral colors and because a lot of times that's what people do go with. And so I kind of know, okay, this scarf sells more in this color and that's what I'll make.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like doing custom orders?
Yes, I do. In the summer months, I do. I like doing like different custom orders that's like not in my shop.
Okay.
But other than that, like in the fall, winter, I try not to because of the time.
Yeah. So when you customize something for someone, can they come to you and really customize from the ground up? Like say, well, I like the headband you have, this particular headband. Can you combine it with something else to create something that you maybe don't have in the store? Or do you mainly just customize for colors and size or things like that?
Oh yeah. There's so many, like there's pieces in my shop that were actually inspired by a customer's, custom request.
Okay.
And like my sweater, my Umi Max sweater, I had written a pattern for that, like I think a few years ago, from a customer that requested a sweater. And this year I brought it back, but I changed the pattern up and I made it to where it could, fit pretty much anybody. And so it's really fun to listen to what people want and create it and then see that it can be potentially really good for the shop.
Oh, good. Now, outside of Etsy, do you have a blog or a website?
Yes, I've been blogging since 2008 whenever I opened my shop, and it's ozettamade.blogspot.com. And I share my everyday work life in photos and words. And then I also have websites for each new collection that I create. And those you can find, I believe on my About page, you can find like the last 2 websites, but on my blog, you can find all the past collections.
Okay. So right when you first started selling, you immediately started blogging too?
Yes.
Was that to help promote your Etsy shop, or was it just something you were doing on the side?
I think it was a little bit of both. I really wanted to show that my everyday, just what I'm creating. And I think that people really like to see a behind the scenes look and see you creating and seeing how much time you put into it. And so I think that's why I ultimately started the blog and to just share things that inspire me and try to inspire others.
Right. And you still blog very prolifically.
Yeah, I am so bad about it in my busy months, but I try to do it. Now I try to do it almost every day or at least 2 to 3 times a week.
That's really great. So altogether in a given week, how much time does your Etsy shop take? How much time do you spend just working on Etsy? And it's everything Etsy related.
Well, right now, like 40 to 70 hours, but around my busy season, it's like anywhere from 100 to 120 hours a week.
Wow.
So it's a lot.
Yeah. But I think that's important for people to know because sometimes I think there's the perception that when you work for yourself or when you work from home, it's easier than going out to a job. But everything is on you. You're every single department, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so that makes sense.
Yes.
And so you kind of touched on this when you talked about the teams, developing relationships on Etsy and through Etsy, business relationships, friendships. Has that been a big part of your Etsy experience?
Yeah, and I have, I've formed friendships that from the very beginning of my shop opening, and I still have those friendships, and it's amazing. I mean, there's people in China, there's people in Paris. I mean, it's like it's crazy that I can form these type of relationships just all over the world.
Yeah. Do people sometimes think you're crazy when you say you have friends that you've never met?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Have you ever wanted to quit or close your Etsy shop?
No, I don't even close my shop for like if I'm going on a family vacation. I'll just put, my turnaround time will be different. But
Okay.
I feel like um if you close your shop, I mean, you're not going to be consistent with like reaching your customers. And like if someone were to come to your shop and it were closed, you could potentially lose that customer forever. So I've, as much as I like want to in my fall and winter months, like whenever I'm exhausted and, it turns into crying because, I feel like I can't do all of these hundreds of orders. Um, I don't close it because I feel like, I can do it. I can work through this and, I can overcome that feeling of, wanting to just quit.
Yeah. That's inspirational. Now, when you get a new idea for a new piece, how long does it take you to go from the idea to actually making it and then listing it?
Well, usually, I know this is weird. I'm most inspired like in the summer months when it's warm and hot. I don't know. I don't get it, but that's whenever I create for my fall winter collection. So, I spend about 2 months, thinking of idea. Well, I think of ideas like all year long and I'll write it down. And then in the summer, I really, execute those ideas and work on them. And then I prepare for releasing my collection. So it usually takes about, 2 to 3 months, like working on that. And then I try to, I really want to put stuff in my shop that I feel good about and I'm, 100% on instead of just sticking something in there to make a sale. So, I try to decide that, what I want in my shop and then I narrow it down for the collection each year.
Okay. Do you ever get in a creative rut?
Um, Not really. I mean, each year, I mean, I'm able to create and I do my collection and I don't know, I not really. I guess not. I'm
Well, that's good.
inspired and I guess my outlet is just creating and that's what I do like all the time. That's what I've done since I was little.
Right.
And whether it be, a bracelet or something, I was always creating.
All right. Do you plan on in the future adding any additional product lines?
Like kids lines or because I have kids line now
Yeah.
in my shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started the kids line last year,
Okay.
and this year I'm starting to expand on that, and
Nice.
just I think I can reach more of an audience that way too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Do you ever get requests for your patterns?
Oh, all the time. I get it.
Really?
Yes, all the time. Almost in the cooler months, of course, I get it pretty much every day. And I had a lady contact me to do a book with her, and I was going to have to release like 25 of my patterns that are in my shop, and I was going to do it, but I'm not quite ready to share like all of my work, and because just afraid that people will take that, and sell elsewhere, stuff like that. But maybe one day, and I'm thinking of maybe creating patterns for things that I've retired and not really creating for the shop anymore. But it just takes time and what I want to do. I don't know if I want to post it in my shop or make like a mini book thing or that I create, or I don't know. So the ideas are there, but I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about the patterns yet.
Okay. Yeah, you have a lot going on. I asked that because when I'm looking at just the different things you have for sale. Do you know Debbie Bliss?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so that's what came to my mind. I was looking at everything and I'm thinking, oh, Debbie Bliss, because she has, especially the kids line. And I thought, wow, if you just put all these together in a book, you could be like the next Debbie Bliss.
That would be pretty cool.
I know, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's time for all that. What's one lesson you would say you learned the hard way from selling on Etsy?
I don't really, one lesson I've learned.
Or the easy way.
I don't know. I guess just like, what do you mean? Like a good lesson or?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It could be a good lesson. Like maybe something that you learned through an experience with a particular customer.
I don't know.
Okay, don't worry about that. I just threw that one in there. Okay, here's another one. If you could talk to the folks at Etsy and ask them to put in any new features on Etsy, what would you ask for?
Probably like maybe something more with I don't know, maybe like videos or something like that. I know they've done that kind of in the past, but I don't know if they really do that anymore. But just because I think seeing people working and creating kind of makes a stronger relationship with the seller.
Yeah.
And I know I like to see those videos and seeing people in action, So I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm all for videos. I say that so much, but I think having videos would be just the best thing.
Yeah.
And so let's say someone is thinking about selling on Etsy. They're not sure, and they're on the fence. What advice would you give to that person?
I'd say go for it. I mean, that's what I ultimately ended up doing. And I just went for it and decided this is what I want to do. And once I did that, I was able to really just devote all of my time to it and, start doing what I love. And I was able to, just go from there and start creating every day.
Every single day you create something?
Well, whether it be orders or, yeah, I do.
That's excellent. Great advice. Hailey, what's the best way people can reach you if they want to get in touch with you?
You can reach me at through Etsy is where I respond the quickest, which is ozetta.etsy.com, or you can email me, which is ozettashop@yahoo.com.
Okay. And I have to say, when she says she responds the quickest, Hailey is fast. When I first sent a message to her on Etsy, I think I had barely even looked away from the screen. And then boom, she had responded. So yes, she does respond very quickly. So thank you so much again, Hailey, for being on the podcast this week. I'm really glad that you took the time to talk to me.
Oh, I am so excited. I was so excited to do this and very honored that you asked me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And if you want to reach out to Hailey, I'm going to have all her contact information on the blog, in the show notes. It will have her email and links to her website and her Etsy shop. Hop over there, reach out to her, buy something, and feel free to leave feedback too. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convome.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.